So I've seen a lot of chatter on our Microsoft Teams channel related to hands-on project 2.2, so I thought I'd go real quick and do a run through of that lab for us. So here's the lab in Brightspace, right? So hands-on project 2.2 Windows Admin Center. So we're going to do we're actually going to set up Windows Admin Center. That's going to be the big thing. We're going to do this on server 3. Okay. The minute says also please add the 3 servers from your Windows Admin. And this is, I think this is the part that we went down the rabbit hole the other day with Server Manager to try to do the same thing here with Windows Admin Center. Okay, so we'll make an attempt at that and see how that goes. Okay, so that's the lab that we're going to work on. I've already opened up MindTap and got the lab here ready to go, and I've also opened up vSphere. I've connected to the VPN and already brought this up so that we can get through this quickly. So we're going to go to server 3 and we're going to launch the web console. Right? And what I want to do is I'm going to separate server 3 from the other part there, and I'm going to bring up MindTap. So then I'm going to drag this to there, so we have that and then that. So we're going to try to see if we can instructions on the right and server on the left. Also on your server host, we're going to navigate to this screen here. So from this computer, there we go. I'm going to minimize Server Manager for now. Open up Chrome, and we are going to navigate to aka.ms/Windows Admin Center. Alright, so it takes us to the Admin Center, and it wants us to follow the prompts to download the latest non-preview version of Windows Admin Center. So download now. So I'm just going to click on Download Admin Center. And alright, so I think right there, I'm just following the prompts. Windows Admin Center, get started for free. MSI, I'm just going to hit continue. It wants some information. You can give it fake information, like so we could do let's do this. There we go. It doesn't really matter at that point. We're just gonna make some stuff up. We got lots of people. I am I'll call myself a manager today. Now, the only thing that's going to be real, we're going to put in our email address here. And then as soon as they start sending you emails, just unsubscribe. I think that'll work. That's the email at the school, or the phone number at the school, United States. And then no, I don't want any information. Hit continue. So apologize for the grandkids in the background if you can hear them. I can hear them, so I'm pretty sure they're back there. Alright, so you just open up the MSI, right? We're going to install this thing right there on the server. So it says right here, right, on the Windows, accept the license agreement, and then it's just going to rock and roll through the installation. We're going to do just required diagnostics. Well, I'm not worried about all the optional stuff. Let's go ahead and use Microsoft Update. I don't think it asks us to do that, but I think we'll be fine using that. Install Admin Center on Windows Server. Allow Admin Center to modify the machines. Use WRM over HTTP only. Does it ask us to do that? I think so. At the installation, please note that the installation program will generate a self-sign and click install. So it's going to do that. It doesn't say that right at the update page. Click next. Install admin, just click next. So they don't want us to change anything. So we're not going to do the HTTPS. It's going to generate one, right? It's going to make one automatically. So that's fine. We're not overly concerned about it at this point. And just click finish. So I don't think I needed to do the update one. I don't think it matters at this point, yes or no on that one. I think we're good. So this is it shouldn't be that big of an install. One thing I will go look at while we're waiting for this install, I'm going to go back to Server Manager, right? Because remember, I didn't change my names. I need to go back and do all those things. But my server name is some weird long, default thing. So I'm going to try to copy that. I don't know that it'll work. Because instead of putting in right here where it says server X, you need to put in the name of your server, right? The name of your server has to be there. All right. So it's going to set up an encrypted, right, using HTTPS port 443, which is your standard SSL port, right? A web page. That is an administrative web page. You're going to see it's going to be real similar to, and it tells you right here how to connect, right? So if I just click on that, it should actually open the browser. Oh, and it opened up. I don't want to do there. Let me go copy. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to hit finish. I copied that link, right? And then you need to put a colon 443 on the end of that. And then it's going to connect to Windows Admin Center. So this is a web-based utility that is going to be real similar in makeup. Eventually, I think like the Server Manager. So, right, so we're good. We don't need to worry about what's new. And you can see I've got my server here. It's doing some fun stuff up on the edge here. If I click on this, you can see, right, this is where I think Microsoft is doing this to start to meld together the administrative consoles for your on-prem systems and your Azure, right? So to kind of combine those two pieces together. Okay, so we're going to navigate to there, skip the tour, right? Maximize the browser settings, and then at the All Connections, click on Add Servers. So I went into this one page, so I need to go click here on Windows Admin Server. So you can see, click Add. Connect servers running Windows Server. Right, so we're going to add. We're going to try this, right? I don't know what pieces are going to be needed because nothing is. We don't have a domain running at this point, so I'm hoping that we'll be okay with this. So from the other day, if we go back real quick to so from the other day, we had. My server here is 2620-HPV. So server name 2620-HPV. And the other day, what worked for us really well was the .local. So I'm hoping that it finds that, and it found it, which is nice. So I can add it. So now I have that server, right? And it's not connected, but we've added it to the command thing, and I think. If you remember from our lab the other day, we had lots of issues with authentication components. So I think that may be what we have going forward. But as far as the assignment is concerned, all I've asked you to do is add them, right? And I want to make sure that we can actually configure them and do that thing later. But from an assignment standpoint, we're just trying to add each of these servers. So then I'm going to click Add again. I'm going to click Servers. I'm going to go look at, so I'm going to close this one over here. And oops, I got to go back to my vSphere. So server 1 is, let's get Server Manager running here. Local server, and then there's my name right there. So I'm going to try to see if I can copy that from one server to another. I'm not sure I can. I can. Oh, well, no, it didn't do it. So I'm going to have to actually type these things in. So that's fine. So the server name is win dash IKL G7. This would be another reason why you would want to follow the instructions from previous, so you don't have to do all this crazy mess. Oh, and then it's not even typing in. That's awesome. When to type it again. Dash IKL G7 O C4 PFN dot local. And we're hoping that it can find this one. It found it. We're going to add it. That's awesome. Very good. Okay. So I can close down server 1, and then we need to go to server 2 is the only other one that we have to add. This one's the one, remember, I think the other day, I don't think I had set the firewall stuff, so I think we may have issues here, but we'll see. So click add, and the server name, you see the server name here in the top, right, kind of right there. So win-kcp TPR, looks like an N005U dot local. So we'll see if this one finds it. If it's not anything, I think this, oh, it did. That's awesome. Great. So it found it. So we're good there. Okay. So then if I go back to the instructions here, we're going to do the rest of the assignment, but please add your 3 servers to the console. So right there, a picture of this where I can see all 4 servers is going to be one of the key screenshots that we want to see from this project. Okay. Following on, we click add servers, and it says right here, note that you could add servers, and I want you to add them. That's why I changed the instructions a little bit. And then highlight server X, all connections, edit tags. So I think this is the server that we're talking about. Oh, and I clicked on it. Let's go back one page. It says to highlight within the all connections. So I'm in the all connections, right? So you see all connections right here, right? So server manager, so I can do lots of things there. It says to highlight. If I wonder if is that going to highlight? That's a highlight. That's what I'm looking for right there. Right? And click edit tags. And right, because I've got this screen kind of condensed, edit tags is in the extra more, is in the more. So I'm going to click edit tags. And it wants me to say that this is the host. So instead of saying 2019 hosts, right, because that's, I'm just going to say Windows Admin Center host. Okay, so Windows Admin Center host. And click save. Right. So all we've done, you can see over here, we've tagged it a little bit, and then we can actually then say, like this is my Hyper-V server, this is the DNS server, this is so you can add tags however you want. Highlight server X from the all connections and click connect. Right. So I'm already there. I'm going to click connect. Right. With the overview tool, right, view the information shown and click manage alert. So you can see, right, it's telling me, my processors, logical processors, my RAM, all the pieces that, right, that I can see here that I'm actually virtualized. Right. And I believe, right, it says manage alert, so I'm assuming under the more, nope, I don't see more there, so maybe on the left hand side, does it say here? Within the overview tool, click and manage alerts. So let's see if there's if I'm missing something. There should be somewhere in here where we are looking for manage alerts. I'm not seeing that along either of those. Let me double check if I've done that right. So I'm in the all connections. Click edit tags. I've done the edit tags. Click connect. Within the overview tool, view the information. Click manage alerts. I'm going to make this bigger. Right. And I see edit computer ID and refresh. I don't see within the overview manage alerts. Alright. I think I must be misreading something then. Let's see. Highlight server within all connections page. Click connect. Within the overview tool, view the information shown. Then click manage alerts. Select environmental variables and note that you can create, edit system or environmental variables. Select power configuration. Select high performance and click saves. Alright, so there's some things that it's supposed to be allowing us to do. I'm looking on the left there. Seems like that's where it's wanting us to go, but it's really not telling me that, right? It's not saying in the tools section. Because if we look up events, it's going to show me all my event viewers, right? All the different things that I can do. This is acting like it should be from the overview page. This instruction is acting like it should be from the overview page. So I think at this point maybe something has changed within the admin center, or I'm just completely missing this. So it's only going to have us change the power configuration, but I'm curious, like, so is there computer management, server manager, right? So when you click on the server, it dropped us into this overview, right, which makes sense. So we're not using an Azure backup at this point, so that's not there. That's interesting that it's not. There isn't anything that would indicate. Right, so if we click on settings, is that going to help us? We've got environment. So here's the environmental variables that they were talking about. So then there's also an update for this extension. So I'm wondering if there's a fix that needs to be done. If I click on environmental variables, is this going to get me into what it was asking? Right, so I'm going to maximize this screen here and go back over here. Right, so over here, select environmental variables. So I went to settings. I didn't go to manage alerts. Down here on settings, I was able to find the environmental variables, right? And what they want us to be aware of is that you can see here, I can create and I can edit the environmental variables. So I could, from this Windows Admin Center, I could affect the environmental variables on the server. And so that's pretty, I mean, this tool is becoming more and more powerful over time. The other thing, it says select power configuration, select high performance, right? So then on power configuration, so these are all in the settings. So instead of manage alerts, it's got now settings, and then it wants me to do high performance, right? So we're going to set high performance, and then I'm going to save. So I'm actually I just reconfigured that server to use the high performance power configuration through a web page, right? For my admin tool here to manage my server, which is pretty cool. All right. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to do that with all the other servers. I think there may be, again, an authentication thing. So like if I were to go and, right, so we're here at, we're at 5. I'm going to pause briefly because I want to see, and I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole this time, but if I click on HPV to connect, and it gives me, let's see if it gives me the information. So it does give me the information, and then if I go to settings, and power config, and I change that one to high performance, and I click save, it actually did save it, right? So nice, right? So I think it's using the authentication that I have, like the local admin user, which is the same on all of my servers, which is why I think it's working. I was just curious. All right, so that works great. I'm going to go back to the original server so we're not off track here. So I'm down to 6, highlight devices within the tools pane. Right, so then this is the tools pane over here, and it wants me to click devices. Okay. Note that you can disable existing hardware devices and update the device drivers. So you can select something, right, and then there's also update driver. So if, for example, right, I don't want to mess with the IDE thing. Let's grab a keyboard just because, right? And it's not going to let me do anything because there really isn't anything here for us to do in that. But I would imagine like if you have network adapters, if I pick the Intel, I could disable the device, and then there's also the ability to update the drivers. So from a single pane, right, a single web page, I could get into my servers, update drivers, disable devices, change things around. Okay. They want us to go to the networking or the networks in the tools menus. That's number 7. So highlight networks within the tool pane. Select your Ethernet adapter, quick action settings, and you can actually see the information, right? So if I click that, and then so there's, let me try this again. So the details are down here. I just made them small. If I scroll down, so you can see the details and you can see all of my IP settings. I believe if I click here, I can actually change that information if I really needed to. And I can control that from Windows Admin Center. Pretty cool stuff. All right, next, highlight PowerShell. All right, and you can see that I'm now running a PowerShell remotely. And this is not remotely because I'm actually on this machine, right? So I'm on the local machine, but it's showing you that I'm on this machine, and I can run PowerShell commands from here, right? So I can run the get-info or get-item, right, that we have done in previous assignments. So all of those things can be done here. Again, they're just showing us. So exit. So ended the session. And then what's next? Highlight registry. So if I go to registry, it's pretty powerful that you can do all this stuff from this one place. Like I can actually affect my registry. I can change registry settings, it looks like, yeah. So HKey class is root. They want us to open up root, highlight the AC3, which I think he's just grabbing one that's going to be pretty close to the top, and I think all machines have that. And you can add and modify whatever you want to do, right? Same kind of thing. I can add values, right? Then I can also modify values if I had selected a value. So if I select, say, perceived type, I could then modify that or delete that key. Okay, so you can modify the registry from within Windows Admin Center as well. What's next? Roles and features. So roles and features. Looks like we can add roles and features. So remember, so we have available, we haven't installed it, right? So this is so number 10, this is assuming that we are on the machine that we installed DHCP on the previous assignment, and we are not, right? We are on a different machine. If you really wanted to do this, right? If you really wanted to take off DHCP, we got to remember which server did we put it on. I believe we put it on. Let's go back to Windows here. We did it on server 1. Right? And in my world, which is I didn't do the assignment that I asked you guys to do, world, I didn't rename my server, so I need to go to the PFN server, right? So that's the server. Let's see if that works. So if I go to PFN, I'm connecting, okay, and now I'm back to number 10 here. So if I scroll down to number 2, roles and features, we should see that DHCP is installed, right? So DHCP is installed. So if I highlight it, right, I should be able to uninstall it. So I click uninstall. And I'll go ahead and tell it to reboot automatically if it needs to. And right, so we'll see. It should uninstall it, right? So again, another thing to think about here is that we are on a work group, okay? And these are all work group servers. Luckily, my administrative user and password are the same on all 4 servers. So when it passes along the authentication, it should be okay, but it may not, because it may, if it tags the server, like the name of the server, as part of the, it says it's successful, but if it tags it as part of the authentication, right? So if it tries to log into this PFN server from server 3's admin user, that may not work. But you can see we've got uninstall pending here. It said successful up in the corner a second ago, which is pretty neat. And then we could actually go check that server, which was server 1. I'm going to launch the console here and see what we come up with. Oh, I think it may be. Oh, it is in a reboot, right? So it's in a reboot. It did actually reboot, so there you go. It's coming back up. Let me log back in. And we should, what I'm hoping to see here is in Server Manager. Remember earlier we had DHCP as one of the roles and features that were installed, and I think that should go away. And over here you can see I don't have DHCP there, and under my tools I don't have DHCP here as well. It should show up kind of right up in this space over here. So I do have file and print. That's fine. That's what's supposed to be there. If I go to manage and add roles and features, this is on server 1. This is the server that we installed DHCP on the other day. And what I'm hoping for here, so here's server 1. What I'm hoping for here is that DHCP server, you can see, is not installed. So from Windows Admin Center, on a work group, no less, right? I was able to actually uninstall DHCP from the server. So pretty cool. All right, I'm going to leave that there because I keep going to have to go back there. And then optionally navigate to the other tools within, right? So then you can just, idea of this last item is just, hey, go check out the other stuff. You can see that services and security, scheduled tasks, storage, there's all kinds of things that you can do within Windows Admin Center. And the fact that we were able to add all 4 servers, right? So much easier. Like if you were on our call the other day, it took me an hour and a half to get 1 server added because I skipped some steps and it was really painful. I didn't have to do anything on this, and it's functional, which I think is totally awesome. But you can see that I've actually been able to connect to all these other servers, manage these other servers, everything from within a Windows Admin Center. So, and you only need Windows Admin Center on 1 server, right? It just needs to be running on 1 server. But at this point, we've finished and we've connected and we removed, and we were able to connect everything there. You should be able to get to this web page from any other machine on your network, right? So it's a web page. Once you have DHCP or DNS running, then you can use it by name. If you're not going to do it, if you don't have DNS running, which we don't right now, you should be able to get to it by going to the IP address of this server, right? So depending on what your IP address is, which you can find in Windows Admin Center if you needed to. Okay, but that's the lab 2.2. That was it. That's all we're going to do. So snap a screenshot here, maybe a screenshot of doing some of the configurations, and you're good to go. And that'll do it. I hope that helps.